March 21st of 2022, our lives were changed. My partner York and I took in 2 refugee families from the Ukraine. And this is the update that I'm going to give, the last one, of how they're doing now and what they're up to. I'm Katrina, and this is Owned by Love. On that cold March day, we got a phone call. Hello, I have Ukrainians on a bus. I'm just coming from the border of Ukraine to our little town, and I need places for some of these Ukrainians to stay. Can you help? My partner York and I decided it was time to get in action and help the best way we could. My partner sent me to go pick up some Ukrainians at the pickup point. I ended up picking up 2 families instead of 1. I picked up one family who was a mother with a teenage daughter and a cat. So we have a refugee cat. Then the other family was a mother with 2 special needs children. I thought they were about 6 or 7 years old, and they ended up being around 9 and 10 years old. I chose to take 2 families because the mother with the 2 special needs children did not speak any English at all, and the teenage daughter from the other family spoke at least some English. That was going to help us to help everyone. And also, the mother with the 2 special needs kids were precious to my heart because I have my own special needs son who has autism and seizure disorder. So I have a heart to really want to help those that are really suffering when it comes to a war. And those would be the special needs people, the elderly, the poor, and just the ones that are the most susceptible in these times that it's hard for them to get anywhere and get the services they need. Then the work began. I had to run out and get bedding and everything set up for them to sleep that night and to live there, be set up enough in order to have their basic needs taken care of. And because I didn't speak German so well a year ago, guess who got most of the work? You got it, my partner. There were places to go in order to get paperwork done in this country for them to be here. And there were doctor's appointments to try to set up because they needed to be examined to make sure everything was well. But this was just before Easter time, where the doctors are all booked up and they're going on vacation. At the beginning, you can imagine, the only thing we had was a bunch of questions altogether with no answers and a lot of uncertainty. We had to put one foot in front of the other and walk in faith to see what would happen as we kept going forward. So now, where are the families after a year? The mother with a teenage daughter come from a city that is close to the border of Russia and Ukraine. It was getting a lot of trouble, and that's why they left that area. They were the only ones from the family that were able to try to go someplace else, and they ended up with us. Thankfully, so far, all of their family members in that city are fine and doing okay. The city needs a lot of repairs, but thankfully, they are safe for now. For the teenage daughter, we were able to find a place for her to work and do university studies. It's an apprenticeship where you get to work in the field that you want to study, and you get to go to university at the same time. The mother has been focusing on learning German. She speaks Russian and Ukrainian, and of course, didn't speak any German. So there's a program where you can focus just on studying German before you get a job, and she's doing really good. And actually, the daughter as well. We had them here a couple weeks ago, and all of us sat together speaking mostly German because it's the one language that we're all learning together, besides my partner, who actually speaks the language fluently since he grew up here. For those who love animals, the refugee kitty cat is doing great, is happy, healthy, and too fat, living in a new apartment with the mom and the teenage daughter who own her. She's doing well. They're all doing well in that new apartment, and the apartment was a gift because the city that they live in, it's very hard to find an apartment. The apartment that we looked at, the people that were showing it told us that they had 100 people looking for an apartment that put in paperwork to possibly get the apartment we were looking at. And out of everyone, miraculously, through prayers of all of you and through our own prayers, we were able to secure that apartment. God is truly good. The second family that we helped, the mother with the 2 children that were special needs, is a harder story for me to tell, and I might get a bit emotional in sharing their journey with us. Because the mother is uneducated, it took us weeks to understand her story to help her better. She can't read and she cannot write. With time, we were able to figure out that she came from a small town near the borders of Romania, which is not a part of the war zones in the Ukraine. The dialect of Ukraine that she spoke was really hard to understand, and even the Ukrainians had a hard time understanding her. With time of her sharing little bits of her story, we found out that a doctor had told her that her children would be absolutely cured and that she was supposed to come to Germany to be absolutely cured. This mother was overwhelmed with taking care of 2 special needs children. The only thing she knew how to do is, with her phone that she had taken from Ukraine, be able to put in the phone number of her husband and talk to her husband regularly. Unfortunately, because of poverty and lack of education, all 3 of their healths were in very poor condition, and social services needed to get involved. A team of 5 social service workers came here to look at the family and to see what they could possibly do to help them. And they genuinely wanted to help. They were trying to get them doctor's appointments, have their teeth looked after, and try to help see if they could be educated or put in places where they can get the help that they need. They did a fabulous job of putting their hearts into trying to help this family. The mother and the teenage daughter of the first Ukrainian family, my partner York and I poured into this family. We poured into the mother, giving her hugs and giving her children hugs that they had never had before. We helped them to learn things like manners on certain things, on how to do things and how to interact, how a mother interacts with children and things that she could do for them. We worked in so many ways trying to help them the best we could, the best that the mother would accept help. After 3 months of being here in Germany, the mother with the 2 special needs children decided she wanted to go back to the Ukraine. I asked for a meeting with the phone with her husband and herself and sat down with them to try to share with them that I would love for them to make the choice to at least leave the children here so they could get the help that they needed, because they would be in diapers the rest of their lives. And I have a special needs son that's in diapers probably for the rest of his life. These 2 children have partial vision blindness, and they have a lot of other problems that are happening that need tending to. So I begged them to let them stay. And they decided very boldly and strongly that they wanted to go back to the Ukraine. Social services had told us just the day before that they were planning on taking the children away from the mother. And one of them in particular shared that it's not always best for children to be taken away, even in bad situations like this. They don't always adjust well, and you don't know which is best for them. So we had a choice on our hands. York and I prayed really hard about the decision. Does God want this family to be separated? Or does he want them to stay together and that he'll take care of them in whatever form he does by having them back in the Ukraine together? We really felt that God was not calling us at all to separate this family. So we packed them up and we put them on a bus back to Ukraine. Even after 9 months of this family being gone, it's very difficult for me to share with anyone without tearing up and being quite emotional about it. I love that family, and I pray for them often and know that God will be with them. I labeled this video, "You win some and you lose some," and it looks like we won some and we lost some. I don't think it's true, though. I think we fully won because we were able to give to the love of God to all of them. And I know that makes a big difference. And I know God works in the impossible. And he will be with that family. He loves that family. So I say we won it all because love never comes back void. God's love always makes things better. My fellow humans, I wish to encourage you to never give up on giving and helping other people. Don't go by what it looks like or if it looks effective. Go off of what you feel you're supposed to give. And even if it looks like it's failing or has failed, the love that you put into it is so powerful and so good. We cannot walk by sight. We have to walk by faith. And when we feel led to give, it's called charity. It's called the love of God. And it always makes a big difference whether you can see it or understand it or not. Trust in the process. Keep your heart open. Don't get bitter or upset or close down because it looks like things don't work out. And even if what you've done is not appreciated, God always appreciates it. And I do too. Thank you for all the service that each of you do in your own ways, in your own lives, that God has called you personally to do. It makes this world a better place, and it brings the will of God from heaven onto this earth. I love you all. Thank you for watching.